Hello again there folks, Lone Adventurer here. Thanks very much for stumbling your way upon my channel and joining me for another adventure. Today I'm going to be playing through New York Zombies, which is a game I have designed and created myself. So if I seem enthusiastic about it, feel free to take that with a pinch of salt. I have based it on a game from Psycho Headcheese called Into the Zone, which I've played on the channel before. There'll be a link down in the description below to where you can see my playthrough of Into the Zone if you want to see the inspiration for this game. And there'll be a link down there to where you can get yourself a copy of New York Zombies as well if you want to support this channel in a small way, and if you want to check the game out because you think it looks like your sort of thing. With that said, let's have a little look at it. Now, it is a pamphlet game. It fits onto two sides of A4 paper. What I've got here is the main version and the low ink version. We're going to be using the low ink version in the playthrough today, simply because since I printed out this one, there's been a bunch of changes, and I didn't want to punish my printer by printing out this great big block of colour a second time. So when I printed out the second time, I printed out the low ink version. So let's have a little look at the pretty version quickly though, as we introduce the game. There we go. We have got the rules on this side, including some character creation stuff, a table of items that you have to refer to now and again during play, instructions on how to do a challenge roll, a test, details about how fighting works, including becoming infected. Since this is a game with zombies, there is a risk of infection and a few mechanics around that. You can occasionally find yourself fighting multiple enemies. We've got mechanics around that. And then some how to play details. Essentially what you do is each round you roll a dice. If you roll a 1, you increase a risk level. It gets more and more risky to continue in New York. If you roll a 2 or a 3, you have a combat encounter, and there's a combat encounter table, or numerous tables, I'll show you in a second. And if you roll a 4, 5 or 6, you have an event. And the way the game works is you are working your way through, or your character is working their way through 4 different locations. You start in Harlem, you then move into Central Park, then into Midtown, then into the Lincoln Tunnel, and if you make it through the Lincoln Tunnel, you will have a final encounter, and there's 3 possible final encounters. Each location has a combat table, so if you were to roll a 2 or a 3, you'd roll another d6 and get a particular enemy to fight. And then each location has got an events table, and if you rolled a 4, 5 or a 6, you'd roll the dice again, and that would dictate which event you have. And the events sometimes just give you items, sometimes require you to do a test, sometimes require you to fight an enemy, so they are quite varied. Let's just read the intro blurb and then we'll switch over to the low ink version and we'll make a start. Bad news! You're in Manhattan and it's overrun with zombies. You've been laying low, but now it's time to leave your sanctuary and make a break for the safety of the New Jersey refugee camp. It's been weeks since the outbreak occurred. The city streets aren't getting any safer. More New Yorkers are getting turned every day. The number of zombies is increasing and the army are moving in. To get out alive, you must make it out of Harlem, through Central Park, Midtown, and finally survive the Lincoln Tunnel. Good luck, you're going to need it. I'm also going to bring in the character sheet. Pop that there. There's 2 character sheets in the PDF that comes with the game, so you can play twice on one sheet. I've already named my character apparently. The character is going to be called Jamie. And looking through here, you can see a list of dice that we'll need: a d4, a d6, a d8, a d10 and a d20. And I think I've got those all there. Character creation. Characters have the following traits: strength, agility, presence, toughness and knowledge. We've got those listed over here. Traits can be increased during play. Each has a maximum value of 4. So what we need to do is pick a role. We have got 6 roles: cabbie, barista, security guard, doctor, news vendor and busker. Now you can just look through them and pick one that you like the look of. In fact, I would encourage you to do that, but since I created the game, I think it's only fair that I pick one at random because they should all be equally good. 2. A barista. So that is the character with the lowest strength item, a weapon rather. So the barista has a knife. It is a melee weapon. Looking down here in the items table to see the details of the knife. And it does D4 damage. So it doesn't do a lot of damage. Now if I was the busker, I would have got a fire axe, which does D6, I believe. And other jobs come with a pistol, which does D6, although if you have a pistol, is it D6 or is it more than that? D6 plus 2. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty good actually, D6 plus 2. That's going to take out a lot of enemies in the first shot. But obviously if you've got a ranged weapon, you have a limited supply of bullets, so that is the downside of that. Anyway, we're a barista. The job tells you what your stats are, so I can write those in now based on the job. So we've got a strength of 2, an agility of 2, a presence of 2, a toughness of 1, and a knowledge of 2. So it's actually quite a well-balanced job. Some of the other ones are a little bit more all over the place, I think. Looking at the security guard, for example, has a presence of 0, but an agility of 3. And what else? The job also dictates the items that you get, including your weapons. So we've got a knife and night vision goggles. So I'll pop those here. And each character, each job also comes with a special ability. The barista can optionally sneak past standard zombies, test agility, target number 12, and if you fail that test, that is a little test instruction, we'll get to that in a minute. If you fail that, you must fight anyway. I'll write in the job and I'll write a little note of the special ability as well. Otherwise, even though it's my own game, I will genuinely forget about that. Your character will also need some HP, some health points, and that is 10 plus toughness. Our toughness is 1, so it is 11. I haven't put any details about maximum HP in here. I don't think that's going to be too much of a consideration because this game does tend to batter your character quite a bit. So I guess for now, your HP can go as high as you want it to go. And that's it for character creation. Facing a challenge, fighting. We'll talk about all the rules, I think, as we go. We'll just get into the play. So turning to the how to play section, as you travel through each location between your starting point and safety, time will pass as rounds of play. So a round of play can be a combat event, a standard event, or an encounter, a final encounter. So each round will roll out d6, and we'll use this little table here to determine what is going to happen in this round. Oh yeah, the other thing that might happen in the round is the risk level increasing. So rather than having a combat encounter or an event, it might just be that the risk level increases. Now we should talk quickly about the risk level. As the risk level increases, that means that you're going to face regular zombies, standard zombies in between locations. And those can stack up. So if you keep rolling ones, you might end up facing 3 or 4 additional zombies in between, say, Harlem and Central Park. So before you move from Harlem into Central Park, you would have to face those additional zombies based upon how high the risk level has got. And that might be an incentive to move on, because you can move on as soon as you've had one combat encounter or one event. So let's give it a go, shall we? We'll make a start. This is going to be, let's turn over here. In fact, we can close that and we can have that there. Going into Harlem. 6 gives us an event. We'll roll it again. 4. An army surplus stores window has been smashed. So every event has a little bit of flavour text and then some instructions on what you can do there. So here it says test toughness TN12. So TN is a target number. So this game works off a system that is essentially the same as Morkborg. In Morkborg you have difficulty ratings, DR. I've just changed the phrase to target number because I find that to be a little bit clearer. So TN12 means we have to roll a D20 and get a total of 12 once we've added on our toughness. Now our toughness is only 1, so we're not getting much help with that, but that's just the way it goes. We will do a roll and hope for a high number. 1. Not a high number. If we had been successful, we would have gained night vision goggles, which we always have, but we would have had a spare pair. And we would have gained a fire axe or a ration. Brutal. That would have been really, really helpful. Quite sad about that. All right, let's keep going. So now that we've had one event in Harlem, we could go into Central Park. And I'm not sure, I know some of my playtesters have had a go at doing speed runs where they just go through as quickly as humanly possible, i.e. just having one combat encounter or event in every location. I think since someone has done that, I might have made the game a smidge easier in a couple of ways. So I don't know if that would work out, but you could give it a go. If you wanted, you could now leave Harlem and go into Central Park, have one event or combat encounter in Central Park, then go into Midtown, one event, combat encounter, Lincoln Tunnel, one event, combat encounter, and then to the final encounter. So in 5 rounds, you could be at the final encounter. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay where I am. And I think the incentive to stay where you are sometimes is firstly to gain additional items that will be helpful to you. And secondly, to defeat some enemies. And when you defeat enemies, you increase a kill tracker on your character sheet, and every time you kill 5 things you get an additional point to put onto one of your stats, up to a maximum of 4 for each one. So maybe it pays to play the game in a slightly more leisurely fashion, although obviously you don't want to build up the risk level too much. Here we go. 3 is a combat encounter. And remember, to work that out, we're looking at this little table here, but I just know it off by heart now. 2 to 3 is a combat encounter. 4, 5, 6 is an event. So we're going to roll on the combat table here. A 1 has given us a rabid dog. That's a good start. The rabid dog is the easiest enemy in the game. On to combat then. So during combat you're going to be rolling a d20 for all of the rolls, because the rolls you are making are essentially the same as standard tests. If you are rolling to attack with a melee weapon, you will be using your strength. For all of these it's a target number of 12. If you're rolling with a ranged weapon, you attack using your presence, and when you are rolling to defend, you are doing so using your agility skill. Looking at our rabid dog, it has HP of 3, and if it manages to damage us, which hopefully it won't, it would do d4 damage, which is the same as us. Your character always goes first, so we are going to be rolling using our strength attribute, our strength stat, because we are using a melee weapon, our knife. Here we go. And we're aiming for 12, remember. 6. Adding on our strength is 8. That is a fail. So now we need to roll to defend against the rabid dog. 16. And we would add on our presence, giving us a total of, not our presence, sorry, our agility, giving us a total of 18. And that is comfortably above the target number of 12, which means we have successfully defended. So in the first round of combat, There was no damage done by either side, so this is us attacking again. 9, 10, 11, still not hitting the target number. This is pretty annoying. Dog attacks back, or rather we defend against the dog attacking back. 12 plus 2 is 14, so we have successfully defended. Attacking again. 17, 18, 19 is comfortably above the target number, so we have hit the dog. Rolling the d4 to see how much damage we do. 1. I'm going to keep track in my brain of the HP of the dog. We've taken the HP down to 2. Ridiculous. This should have been a 1-round combat, or maybe 2 at the most. Dog attacks back. We defend successfully. 12 plus 2 is 14. We attack again. 5, that's a fail. Dog attacks again. Dog hits 5, 6, 7. So because our roll is less than the target number of 12 for defense rolls, it means the dog is hitting us. Ridiculous. 3 points. I'm not going to count that because it didn't go on the page. 2 points of damage. You might argue that was cheating, but you'd be wrong. Taking me down to 9 HP. If this dog kills me and this is the end of the playthrough, know this. There's a lot more to this game than we have managed to show. Right, so that's the dog attacking, so I'm going to attack again. 11, 12, 13 is a successful hit. 2 points of damage. The dog was on 2 points of HP because we'd already hit them for 1, so that takes him down to 0, means we've killed the dog. Wow, that was a surprisingly brutal first round of combat. And I'm going to mark on 1 in my kill tracker space here. So we are now working towards improving one of our scores. Blimey. Okay, let's push on. Let's push on. We're going to have another roll in Harlem. 6, that's an event. 5, that is not good. Okay, it might be that we don't make it out of Harlem. Now this event here, I know I've had a couple of my playtesters say is too difficult. But I have added something in that might make it easier. 2 thugs block your way demanding payment. What I've added in is the ability to test presence to avoid the combat. But really that should say avoid the encounter or avoid the event. Might make a little change there, because it then says either lose 2 items or fight the street thugs. If you win, gain 2 of the following: lockpick, a pistol and medkit. Now street thugs are HP 5, they do D4 plus 1 damage, and there's 2 of them. And during combat with multiple enemies you can only attack 1 at a time. So that could definitely be a very deadly event. I think I might lose the lose 2 items bit as well. I think that's just overcomplicating the event. Test presence, target number 12 to avoid the event. Fight 2 street thugs, and then the rest of it. That might be a bit more straightforward. Now the question is, do I want to try and avoid it, or do I want to try and fight these guys? Now I am not kitted out to fight at all. In fact, I'm not very good at fighting. I don't have a good weapon. It's going to take me at least 2 hits, so it's going to take me at least 4 rounds of combat to take these guys out. But if I did, I would get a medkit, which would allow me to regain some of the HP I'd lost, and a pistol I would probably take, although I wouldn't have any bullets. Maybe it needs to be a rule that pistols always come with bullets to start. Apologies. Just fine-tuning the game as we go. Yeah, I'm going to say the pistol comes with 6 bullets, and then I'm going to just tone down the number of bullets you get with the starting characters. We're going to do that. We're going to say the pistol comes with 6 bullets. But the question still remains, are we going to fight these thugs? And I think we are. I think we're going to have a go at fighting them, because surely after the dog we'll have a bit more luck. So usually if you fight an enemy as part of an event, it will be an enemy from that location, and the stats for that enemy will be listed up in the combat section. I think there's one or two exceptions to that, but then you'll be given the stats in the event. Here we go. We're going to attack Street Thug number 1. 17, that's good. Do we do any damage? Whoop, that was an insane throw. But we got 2. So we've done 2 points of damage to the first Street Thug, taking the first one down to 3. Street Thug 1 attacks back. Misses. Street Thug 2 attacks back. Misses. That. Oh, no, wait a minute. Those were both hits, weren't they? You plonker. First one was 6. We add on 2. That gives us 8. Second one, 9. Add on 2 gives us 11. And remember, that's us rolling to defend, and we haven't hit the target number of 12. So actually, both of them have hit. Yeah, this might be the end of this character. Oh, 1 point of damage from the first one. 1 point of damage from the second one. That's very lucky. Unlucky to get hit, but lucky to receive so little damage. So that's taken me down to 7. We're going to attack that first thug again. 9, 6, 7, 8. That's a miss. This really might be the end of this game. This was me defending against the first thug. That is a miss. So the first thug is hitting me, doing 3 points of damage. This is the end of the game. Second thug I've managed to defend against. I've rolled 13, which is higher than the target number. But we're taking 3 from that first one, taking me down to 4. I shouldn't have thought the thugs. 11 plus 2 is 13, which means we have hit that first thug on our third round of combat. 3 points of damage. Oh, that means that the thug is still on 1 point of health. Oh, that was my first defend roll. That is a fail, as you would imagine. 4 points of damage, and Jamie is defeated. Yep, okay, my playtesters were not wrong. That event is quite difficult. Maybe too difficult? Who knows? I think what we'll do is we will set up another character and we will have another go and see if we can get out of Harlem. Right, let's have another random job then. 4, that is a doctor. That is another one with a knife. I'm not saying characters with a knife are necessarily... Well, he comes with a med kit though, so we can heal 4. That's pretty handy. So let's stick with him. So we will have a Dr. Jane. Dr. Jane has got a knife. I'm not sure why I'm writing knife in the notes. That's not where that goes. Dr. Jane has got a knife and a med kit. Let's have a look for stats. Right, we've got 2 strength, 2 agility, 2 presence, 1 toughness, and 2 knowledge. Is that the same? That's the same as the barista, isn't it? That needs to be slightly different. Does it need to be slightly different? Maybe it does. I think I'm reaching saturation point with changes to the game for now. So that's going to be something I'll note down for version 1.2. Right, so we'll stick with those stats. Obviously the character is different because it comes with a knife and a med kit as opposed to a knife and night vision goggles. And we've got a different ability as well. And the ability of the doctor is med kits give +1. Let's push on straight away. Let's see how Jane does in the city of New York. So we're going to roll on the travel table here. Remember, a 1 increases risk level by 1. 2, 3, combat encounter, 4, 5, 6, event. Also starting in Harlem again. Hopefully we'll get out of Harlem this time. 3 gives us a combat encounter, okay. 3 gives us a street thug. Oh no, not another street thug. Here we go. We're going to attack first. 15. So we're going to add on strength to 15, giving us 17, which is more than the target number of 12. So we're going to see how much damage we do. 4 points of damage. That's more like it, isn't it? Street thug has got 5 HP. Now we're going to roll to defend. 18, that's a strong defense. Jane, it seems, is going to be a bit more lucky. Let's attack again. 20, boom. Okay, and obviously we're going to be able to do 1 point of damage because you always do 1 point of damage, and that's exactly what we did. So the street thug was quickly dispatched. We'll add 1 to our kill tracker here. We should have added our HP, obviously, which is going to be 10 plus our toughness, so also starting with 11. Now at this point we could leave Harlem. I'm going to try one more event in Harlem, one more thing. 6, that is an event. 3, a priest peers out from a nearby church. Can you update them on the situation? Test knowledge, target number 12. Success, gain 2 rations. Toughness, our toughness is 1, so it is our weaker stat, but we're only trying to get a target number of 12, so we should hopefully have a decent chance. That was, you didn't see that, but that was 18. Adding on 1 is 19. Some more lucky rolling. So Jane has gained 2 rations. Sometimes I like to do little tick boxes for things that can be used. So do we stay here or do we go on? There is other good stuff to be found in Harlem, but I think in the interests of this video, maybe we'll push on into the next location. We'll have a couple of encounters in Central Park, and then I will leave the rest of the game to be discovered by people who choose to play it. Here we go. So we're going to move on into Central Park. Now, if our risk level was up, then we would have to face some standard zombies in between, but our risk level is not up, so we're going straight in. And a roll of a 6 means that we're going to have an event in Central Park. 3, you startle another survivor who runs away, dropping something shiny. It's a lockpick. Things are starting to look a little bit better for Jane. Alright, see what happens next. A 1. So that's going to increase our risk level to 1. 2, so that is a combat encounter, and it's going to be with a desperate survivor. Look at this. So desperate survivor's got 5 HP, does D4 plus 1 damage, and the desperate survivor is, as you would imagine, desperate. And that means they do plus 1 damage if you have rations. I do have rations, so they're always going to be doing plus 1 damage. Alright, Jane attacks first. 5, that is a fail. Then we're going to defend against the desperate survivor. 13 plus 2 is 15. That is a successful defense. We'll attack again. 7, that is fail. And we have managed to defend a second time. 17 plus 2 is 19. Attacking again. What's that? Oh, it's a 4. It's not down 4. The digits on these dice are slightly strange. Okay, so that is another failed attack. That's annoying. So let's defend against the desperate survivor. 1. That is a fail, which means we're going to receive D4 plus 1 damage. 1. That was lucky. So we're going down to 9. Attacking again. 17. That's more like it. So we're going to do D4 damage. Oh, 1. Awful. Taking the desperate survivor down to 4. Defending against the desperate survivor. 2. That's bad news. Oh, 1. That's lucky. 1 plus 1 because we have rations that make them all the more desperate. Taking us down to 7 HP. Okay. Then we're going to attack again. 18. That is a success. 3. The desperate survivor was on 4. That takes them down to 1, which means they're able to attack again. 20 is a successful defense. Attacking again. 15. Add 2 is 17. And obviously a roll of a d4 would always give 1, which means the desperate survivor is defeated, and we can tick them off. Alright, I tell you what, we haven't faced a zombie yet. I think ordinarily I would spend a little bit longer in Central Park to see if I can gain something else useful. Most importantly, a better weapon. I'm not going to stay in Central Park purely for the purposes of this video. We will move on into Midtown. However, because our risk level is 1, that means we have to fight a standard zombie. Standard zombies are listed here in the how to play section. They have 3 HP, do d4 damage and are infectious. And that means that there is a risk that you can become infected with the zombie virus. Essentially, if the zombie is able to do some damage to you, then at the end of the encounter you have to roll a d6, and if you roll a 1 you become infected. If you become infected, you then have a countdown essentially until you have to cure that infection, either using a zombie virus vaccine, which is an item you can get, or by getting to the end of the game through the Lincoln Tunnel to the refugee camp in New Jersey, where they will be able to cure your zombie virus infection. But right now, between Central Park and Midtown, we're going to have to face a standard zombie because our risk level is 1. If our risk level was 2, we'd be facing 2 standard zombies. But we're facing 1. So we're going to attack this standard zombie. 11, 12, 13. How much damage are we going to do? 3 points of damage. That means the zombie is able to attack back. We defend. 15, we defend perfectly adequately. Then we attack again. 2, that is a fail. The zombie attacks again and we defend. 1, that is a fail. So the zombie has attacked us. It is going to do us some damage. It's doing us 3 points of damage, taking us down to 4 HP. 13. 13 add 2 is... Why have I written 5 for my strength? I'm sure you noticed that a lot earlier than me. I've written an S. S for strength. That's what you write, isn't it? Now that should have been a 2, and we've been playing it as a 2 all along. So that would be 15, which means we're able to attack the zombie. We only need to do... Oh, did we do 3 points of damage the first time? I had it in my head it was 4 points of HP the zombie has. It's 3, isn't it? How much damage did I do to the zombie in the first round? This is why I should probably write down the damage that I'm doing. I'm not sure. But there you go. We do 4 points of damage now. The zombie is definitely dead. Apologies if I should have killed the zombie earlier, but at least we got to see what happens if the zombie does damage to you. Because if the zombie does damage to you, you have to roll a d6 and you might become infected. I rolled a 2, so Jane does not become infected. If I rolled a 1, then she would have. So there you go, folks. That is New York Zombies, my little game. I'm quite proud of it. You can find it on DriveThruRPG and itch.io. There will be links down in the description below if you fancy checking it out yourself. If you do, thank you very much. I appreciate your support. If you've made it this far in the video, thanks very much for watching the whole thing. And you're probably the sort of person who might be kind and generous enough to leave a review on one of those platforms if you happen to play the game and you happen to enjoy it. I would really appreciate a review or 2 here and there. If you do find the time to do that, double thank you. Anywho, thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one. Bye for now.